I'm here to show you how Hill-Rom overhead patient lifts can help mobilize your patients earlier and often. Every patient handling situation is different because every patient is different, whether it's size, weight, morphology, or condition. It's always important to take those factors into consideration and reference your facility policy regarding patient handling. I'm going to review basic functions of the overhead patient lifts. First, our patient lifts come in a weight capacity of 440 pounds up to a dual motor option of 1,100 pounds. If you would like to know what weight capacity your system is, please refer to the product label on the side of the unit for your weight capacity. There's also an emergency stop located on the overhead lift system. The emergency stop is activated by pulling on the red string of the overhead lift system, and it will activate the emergency stop. The red emergency stop button does need to be deactivated for the lift to start working again. Overhead lifts are operated by a hand control. The hand control will operate the lift sling bar going up and down, which picks up your patient up and down. The movement of the sling bar left and right will be done by the caregiver, moving the actual motor in the rail depending on your configuration from left to right or front to back. It's also important to know that the sling bar will also go all the way down to the ground so you can do floor rescues if necessary. Your overhead lift may charge via wall mount hand charger using the hand control plugged into a wall mounted charger, or it could be done via in-rail charging where it's always charging. If you do have a wall mounted hand control, which would look like this, you would take your hand control and you would actually place the hand control inside the wall mounted charger. The lights will show up. If it is a green light showing up, then you know that your battery is fully charged and your battery is good. If it's a green and yellow light, you know that your battery is charging and that it's accepting a charge. If you have a white light, your white light tells you that you may have a problem with your motor and you should call Biomed or facilities for repair. Your overhead lift system is designed to do a variety of overhead lifting activities, including boosting, turning, seated transfers, and ambulation, to name a few. Now we're going to go ahead and show you how to transfer a patient from bed to chair using a seated sling. This can be used on a Gulvo, the Viking, and the overhead lifts. This yellow stripe down the back means it's a medium, but it also is a nice indicator to where I need to line up behind the patient right along the spine so I can get that nice and lined up. So I'm going to go ahead and I fold the sling in half. I'm going to go ahead and put it behind the patient, and then I'm just going to take the folded half and move it around the patient so it's nice and lined up. Again, taking that line and making sure it's right down her spine. Now, because we can transfer the patient in a seated position, I'm going to ask her to sit forward just a little bit for me, and I'm going to tuck it just to her tailbone and get that there. So I'm going to go ahead and ask her to sit back, and then we're going to take our leg straps. I'm going to roll that leg strap underneath, and then I'm going to tuck it here. I'm going to reach in there and grab that sling so it's all the way through and her leg's secure in there. Now I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to go ahead and take the other leg, and I'm going to go ahead and fold it underneath. Again, same fashion, and pull it through so it doesn't shear on the patient's skin. Once we get those legs in place, I'm going to go ahead and take the straps of the legs, crisscross them, because that's what we do for a seated transfer, and put them there. I'm going to go ahead and grab my sling bar. One of the nice things about Hill-Rom LECO products is that the sling bars are universal, so the same sling bar is on the Viking and the Gulvo and the overhead patient lifts, allowing for same application. I'm going to go ahead and bring the sling bar over here. I'm going to go ahead and attach the head here. I'm going to attach the head here. And then I'm going to do the same for the legs, attaching here and here. It's important to note when you attach the sling straps on the sling bar that you always want to make sure that they're seated here and nice and safe, and we don't want them here or here. We go ahead and grab the hand control. Explain to our patient what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and get you moved over to the chair, raising them up. And again, it's important to work with the equipment together. So we're going to use the bed, make sure it's at a comfortable height, and then make sure that we just clear that surface. And then we're going to go ahead and bring her over to the chair. Get her seated in a nice, safe position using the straps on the back of the sling. I'm going to pull back a little bit and get her seated in there nice and neat so she can have a nice, comfortable seat, lowering her down, getting her in that chair. Once we get her to that position, I'm going to go ahead and get the sling bar down low enough to about chin height so we can take off the sling loops. Go ahead and remove those. And then we're going to go ahead and remove the sling from the patient. So I'm just going to go ahead and uncrisscross, doing the reverse action that I did when I put the sling on. I'm going to go ahead and wrap those underneath those legs and pull out, and I'm going to do the same activity on this side, wrapping underneath the legs to avoid shear and friction, and just wrap that around. And then I'm going to ask her to sit forward a little bit, and we can go ahead and take the sling off the patient. And now I'm going to show you how to ambulate your patient using our master vest. This is an ambulation device that can be used on the Gulvo, the Viking, and the overhead lifts. So I'm going to go ahead and do the right braided strap and bring it through the D-ring. And then I'm going to do the left braided strap and bring it through the right D-ring. And then go ahead and just make sure that it's secure back there. So I went ahead and got my sling bar. I'm going to go ahead and attach the braided strap to the sling and the sling bar. I'm going to make that connection. And then I'm going to go ahead and take these arm loops and make sure her arm is through it. I'm going to attach the same arm loop and make sure her arm's through it, through there. Now that we've got our master vest attached to our sling bar, we're going to go ahead and ask our patient to stand up. Always remembering that the lift should not be doing all the lifting. The patient is actually ready to ambulate and be mobilized. So we want her to do that activity. So this is just for help and guidance. So we're going to go ahead and raise the lift up. And then as it's tightening, we want to make sure that the patient's standing slowly. And once we get into a nice secure position, she can go ahead and take a few steps. And now I'm going to show you how to ambulate your patient using our lift pants. This is Hillrom's lift pant. This is an ambulation device that can be used on, again, the Gulvo, the Viking, and the overhead lifts. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to place it underneath the patient. So at this stage, we're actually ready to mobilize our patients, and we're comfortable that they can stand a little bit, so we're getting them to the edge of bed. Once we've got the patient to the edge of the bed, we're going to go ahead and put the lift pants. So again, the tag is always facing in the back, away from the patient. And then we're just going to have our patient kind of lift up a little bit, and then we're going to slide this underneath and come back. And so once we have that in place, we can go ahead and take the front of the lift pant, and this specifically is the braided strap, which is actually offering a lateral support. So once we engage with the back strap through it, we're going to go ahead and just disregard. We won't need to use it anymore. So I'm going to take this braided strap, and I'm going to take this strap from behind, and I'm going to take it and put it through the braided strap once I side it. So I'm going to take it here, and I'm going to go ahead and put it out here. So I put the back sling strap through this braided strap. I'm going to weave it through. And now I'm done with that lateral strap, and I'm going to repeat that activity on the other side. So again, the braided strap with the rear, I'm going to bring it through. I'm going to put the back strap into the braided loop, the same level of loop on either side, and then I'm going to feed it through, again, reaching back around, and now I'm going to have the sling bar. I'm going to attach the back straps on the left and right, and then I'm going to attach the front straps, again, on the left and the right. Again, always making sure that those sling straps are seated nice in that pocket, not here or here, for safety. And then I'm going to go ahead and raise this up a little bit to offer the patient support. It's important to note that when we use the lift pant, we are not going to lift the patient, but we are going to have the patient do the work because we're comfortable with them standing. So we're going to get her a walker, and we're going to go ahead and ask her to continue to stand. So we just want the lift to help them, not do the physical lifting. It's just there as a safety net. Once we get there, nice level, not too tight, our patient then go ahead and take a few steps forward. And that's how you use the lift pants to ambulate your patient. And now I'm going to show you how to use the Hillrom multi-strap. The multi-strap can be used for a variety of activities, including proning, wound care, limb holding. Today I'm going to show you limb holding. This is the multi-strap wide. Multi-strap wide is utilized by taking this pocket here and placing your hand in there. Once we get our hand in place, we're going to go ahead and take the multi-strap, press against the mattress, slide it under one leg and bring it through. What we want to do is make sure that the multi-strap is even on the left and right, and then we can go ahead and get our sling bar. This can be used on a Gulvo, the Viking, and the overhead lifts. And we can attach the multi-strap to our sling bar on the left and attach it on the right. Making sure again that everything's seated in the sling bar, and then we can go ahead and raise the lift, elevating the limb off of the surface. And what this is great for, you can do wound care, dressing changes, and a bunch of other activities. It's also good for basic hygiene activities as well. The multi-strap is interchangeable, which can be used on our overhead lifts, our mobile lifts, including our Gulvo and Viking. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any further questions, you can contact your local Hillrom representative or go to hillrom.com.